Okay, we are discussing about plant breeding techniques. Okay, in development of disease resistant varieties. Okay, there are we follow two main methods to develop disease resistant varieties. One is conventional plant breeding, as we have discussed before, for high, okay, to develop high yielding varieties. In the same procedure will follow for improving regarding to disease resistance by conventional plant breeding. And the second method is a mutation breeding. And the second one is a mutation breeding. Okay. Okay, when you observe here, okay, that means we have developed some plant varieties of disease resistance by using conventional breeding, and we also developed certain plant varieties of disease resistance by using mutational breeding also. Okay, first we'll discuss okay, some of the plant varieties which has developed disease resistance against certain diseases by using a conventional plant breeding. By using a conventional plant breeding. So by using conventional plant breeding, we have developed a new variety of wheat by the name Himgiri. By the name Himgiri. Okay, there is a wheat variety. Okay, in that, okay, what is the speciality of this Himgiri? Okay, Himgiri wheat variety means it has okay, in this we have developed disease resistance against leaf and stipe rust, hill burnt disease. Okay, leaf and stipe, okay, stripe rust. Okay, leaf and stripe means the petiole of the leaf, and the midrib we call it as a stripe. Okay, that a disease called rust used to observe. Okay, and we have developed resistance against this disease, and also a hill burnt. That means because of the okay, this disease, what happens, the total plant turns into yellow colored because of the death of tissue. As a result, when we look from far, it appears like the hill is burning because of the plant turns into yellow color instead of green color. It appears in yellow color due to the loss of chlorophyll. As a result, the crop field appears like a burning. So we say it as a hill burnt. So against these two diseases, that is leaf and stipe rust and hill burnt, we have developed resistance in this wheat variety, that is Himgiri. In the same manner, when you observe the brassica, okay, in brassica, okay, that is mustard. Okay, in mustard, we have developed a plant, okay, a variety of mustard called Pusa swarnim. A plant variety called Pusa swarnim. Okay, it is also called as a, okay, Karan Rai. Okay, this variety is also named as a Karan Rai or Pusa Swarnim. Okay, when you observe here in this, they developed resistance against white rust. Okay, a fungal infection, a infection which is caused by the fungi. Okay, this is called white rust. We have developed resistance against this white rust. And next, we have developed a new varieties of cauliflower, like a Pusa subra, okay, Pusa subra, and a Pusa snowball K1. Okay, the varieties, we have developed two varieties. There is a Pusa subra and a Pusa snowball K1. These are the two varieties of cauliflower we have developed. In these two, we have developed resistance against black rot and curl. Against black rot and curl. And next, blight, okay, curl, blight, black rot. Okay, black rot and curl, blight, black rot. These are the two diseases, okay, to which we have developed resistance in the cauliflower. Okay, with the development of new varieties like Pusa subra and Pusa snowball K1. In these two varieties, we have developed disease resistance against black rot and curl blight black rot. Okay, curl blight black rot. Okay, these are the two diseases we have developed resistance. And next, we have developed a new variety called Pusa Komal in cowpea. Okay, in cowpea. Okay, a new variety called Pusa Komal is developed. Okay, in this, they developed resistance against bacterial blight. Okay, bacterial blight. Okay, that means the disease, okay, the blight disease which is caused by bacterium. Against this, we have developed resistance in this cowpea by the name variety called Pusa Komal. And next, in chili, we have developed a new variety of chili called Pusa Sada Bahar. Okay, Pusa Sada Bahar, a new variety of chili was developed. Okay, in this chili, they developed resistance against chili mosaic virus. Okay, that means this Pusa Sada Bahar variety developed resistance against chili mosaic virus, tobacco mosaic virus, and that means tobacco mosaic virus not only causes disease in tobacco, it also causes disease in chili. And leaf curl, okay, which is usually regularly observed in a chili crop. Okay, that is a leaf curl. That means the wrinkles. Okay, the leaf develops the wrinkles. Okay, as a result, such a leaves cannot undergo photosynthesis properly. The curl leaves will not undergo photosynthesis properly. As a result, the yield is reduced. So that is so because of all this. Okay, that means okay, it has developed that. Okay, that is a Pusa Sadabar, a chili variety was developed. Okay, in which we have developed resistance against chili mosaic virus. Okay, tobacco mosaic virus and leaf curl disease. Okay, all the different varieties of crop plants which were developed as a result of conventional plant breeding against certain diseases. Okay, this table, okay, is very important. Okay, you have to be very thorough with this table. Okay, they will give you this table missing some either okay, the crop, okay, the type of the crop, or okay, crop variety, or the disease. Okay, they will give as the A, B, C, D, and they will ask you what is the A, B, C, and D. Okay, like that. Okay, like that. Okay, the table is given missing some either either crop variety, or okay, the new variety which was developed, or the disease. Okay, whichever it is missing, you have to identify the missing one. Okay, it may be given as A, B, C, D, like that, something like that. Okay, so this table is very important. Okay, even in the NEET examination, in the matching, okay, in the matching they may give, okay, the crop variety and the disease. Okay, are the newly improved variety and the type of the crop. Okay, like that they may give matching, or a combination of three they may give, and they'll ask you the correct option or incorrect option. Okay, that's what you have to. So this table you have to be very thorough. Coming up, a lot of tables will come in this chapter, and also in the next chapter also we'll get some tables. Okay, all these tables we have to be very careful. Okay, we should be very thorough. Okay, that is. And next, so that breeding is often constrained by the availability of limited number of disease-resistant genes that are present and identified in various crop varieties or wild relatives. So that means, okay, we don't find much varieties of plants showing disease resistance. Okay, we have got only few plant varieties which are naturally showing disease resistance against certain diseases. We can't find disease resistance against all the diseases. So whichever they are available, those genes we can incorporate into the hybrid varieties or into the new varieties. Then if you don't, okay, if you are unable to find any crop variety which is showing disease resistance naturally, then what we can do? How we can develop disease resistance? Okay, in that case, okay, if any wild relatives are not available for any disease resistance, then we can go with the mutational breeding. Okay, by inducing mutations, by changing, okay, by using certain chemicals or certain, okay, race, okay, we can change the genetic makeup of that plant variety, and we can develop a disease resistance. Here also the chance of occurrence of disease resistance is very low, because every time we cannot say that the mutation may lead to useful, sometimes it may give rise to harmful results also, or not useful results also. So in that case, okay, we have to undergo artificial selection, okay, followed by mutation, followed by artificial selection. After induced mutation, we have, it is followed by artificial selection, and the desirable characters are selected. The plants with the desirable characters are selected. So that is all. So conventional breeding is often constrained by the availability of limited number of disease-resistant genes that are present and identified in various crop varieties or wild relatives. So we don't find much disease-resistant varieties in crop varieties or wild relatives. So then what we have to do? Okay, we have to undergo mutation. So inducing mutations in plants through diverse means. That means there are different ways of okay providing mutation. There are different ways of providing mutation. So inducing mutations in plants through diverse means, that means in different ways, by using chemicals or X-rays or other means. Okay, then the screening the plant materials for resistance sometimes leads to desirable genes being identified. So, okay, after inducing mutation, okay, now what we have to do means we have to undergo screening. Screening means here selection. Okay, screening the plant materials for resistance sometimes leads to desirable genes being identified. So that means we have to undergo selection or artificial selection, which we are calling it as screening. Okay, for the disease resistance. So whatever the character we are looking for, whether that character was developed in that plant material or not. Okay, we have to check and we have to identify that. Okay, whether the desirable genes have been induced in that plant or not. So plants having these desirable characters can then be applied directly or can be used in breeding. Okay, either the plant material is obtained with the mutation with the desirable characters. Now what we can do, we can develop many plants by using certain methods directly, or we can use breeding program. That means the conventional breeding. That means whatever the variety that is obtained with the disease resistance, okay, that is crossed with a high yielding variety, so that we can introduce this disease resistant gene into that high yielding variety. So either we can multiply directly if it is showing a disease resistance and also the high yielding, then directly we can multiply and we can get a large number of plants. Otherwise, if it is not showing, okay, only disease resistance is showing but not high yield, then we can undergo breeding program, conventional breeding, by crossing with a high yielding variety, and we can introduce that after first producing the disease resistance. Okay, that is why. Okay, plants having these desirable characters can be either multiplied directly or can be used in breeding. Other breeding methods that are used are selection amongst soma clonal variants and genetic engineering. Okay, there are other ways by which we can develop new varieties. That is by soma clonal variants. There is a soma cloning. Okay, so that is somatic hybridization. Okay, by using somatic hybridization, we'll get some new varieties, and these new varieties later undergone tissue culture. Okay, to produce new plants of large number. Or we can use genetic engineering, that is a biotechnological process. By using a genetic engineering or biotechnological process, okay, we can develop some new varieties of crop plants. Okay. Okay, about this okay, soma clonal variants, somatic hybridization we'll discuss later. In this chapter we'll discuss later. And genetic engineering, that is biotechnological process, we'll discuss in 11th chapter and 12th chapter in detail. Okay, it's somatic hybridization will okay among the okay, that is how to obtain soma clones, or how to undergo somatic hybridization, and later how soma clones are obtained. That one we'll discuss in the later part of this chapter. Okay, but here we'll go with okay, already we have discussed about conventional breeding, and now we'll go with the mutation breeding, how mutation breeding is done. So first we have to undergo mutation. Okay, mutation, what is meant by mutation? Okay, mutation means bringing change in the genetic material. Okay, that is okay, in most of the organisms DNA is the genetic material. So bringing change in the DNA or genetic material of the organism, we are calling it as a mutation. Or manipulation of genes. Okay, manipulation of genes or manipulation of genetic material, we are calling it as a mutation. So mutation is the process by which genetic variations are created through changes in the base sequence within genes. Okay, when you observe the DNA, okay, when you observe the genetic material in most of the organisms, the DNA is the genetic material, and the DNA is made up of nitrogen bases, a sequence of nitrogen bases. So by using okay, this mutational process, what we are doing means we are bringing the change in the sequence of nitrogen bases, so that bringing the change in the characteristics of that organism.
Sir, you're in mute, sir.
Okay. So, okay, by using mutation, okay, that means we are creating certain variations in the genetic material by using certain chemicals or by using certain rays or something. Okay, by using, okay, whatever it is, we are bringing the sequence of nitrogen bases. Okay, and the genes, resulting in the creation of new character or trait not found in the parental type. So here what is happening? Okay, by mutation, we are bringing the change in the sequence of nitrogen bases, okay, within the gene. As a result, we are developing some new character or trait which is not present in the parent. Okay, it is possible to induce mutations artificially through use of chemicals or radiations like gamma radiations. Okay, gamma radiations, X-rays, UV rays. Okay, by using these radiations or by using certain chemicals. Okay, by using certain chemicals. Okay, we can induce mutations. That means we can create a certain change in the genetic material artificially. After creating mutations, okay, this okay, we don't know. That means when we are exposing to chemicals or certain radiations, what are the changes that are observed? We don't know. Okay, what are the changes that are observed? We don't know. So what we have to do means we have to undergo selection, selecting and using the plants that have the desirable character as a source in breeding. This process is called mutation breeding. So after undergoing mutation, okay, it has to be followed by selection. Okay, and as okay, and as okay, selection. While you are selecting, okay, you have to make sure that the desirable character was present in that genetic variable variant. Okay, in that genetic variant. Okay, as a result of okay, and this process it has okay, mutation breeding, because we are developing new variety of crop plants by using mutation. Okay, we are breeding or we are developing new varieties of crop plants by using mutation. That's why we are calling it as a mutation breeding. Okay, that is okay. When you observe here, okay, we have developed certain new varieties by using this mutation breeding against certain diseases. Okay, for example, if you observe the mung bean, okay, there is a variety of bean called mung bean. Okay, in this mung bean, we have developed resistance to yellow mosaic virus and a powdery mildew were induced by mutations. So in mung bean, we have developed resistance against two diseases. One is a yellow mosaic virus, and there another one is a powdery mildew. Against these two diseases, okay, we have developed resistance in the mung bean by using mutation breeding. Okay, and not only that, there are other varieties are also developed, like several wild relatives of different cultivated species of plants have been shown to have certain resistant characters but have very low yield. Okay, when you observe the several wild relatives of different cultivated species of plants, okay, when okay, they are having disease resistance, but they are showing a very low yield. Hence there is a need to introduce the resistant genes into the high yielding cultivated varieties. Okay, so we want to develop okay, we want to introduce this disease resistant gene, okay, into the high yielding varieties. Okay, high yielding cultivated varieties. So okay, how they are developed? Okay, one example it is given: resistance to yellow mosaic virus in bindi was a wild species and resulted in a new variety of Abel Moschus esculentus called Parbani Kranti. Okay, bindi. Okay, bindi. Okay, bindi, you know. Okay, the scientific name of this bindi is Abel Moschus esculentus. Okay, and this is a high yielding variety, but Okay, it is not showing disease resistance against yellow mosaic virus. Okay, they developed a new variety of this Abel moscus by the name Parbani Kranti. By the name Parbani Kranti. Okay, by introducing the this disease resistant gene for yellow mosaic virus into this Abel moscus esculentus. Abel moscus esculentus. Okay, called Parbani Kranti. Okay, that is. And next, okay, and all these, that means whatever we have discussed now, okay, that is mung bean, which we have developed resistance against yellow mosaic virus and okay, powdery mildew. Okay, it is developed by mutational breeding. At the same time, Abel moscus esculentus, okay, a new breed called, okay, a new variety of crop called Parbani Kranti was developed by using this mutation breeding. Okay, they introduced this this disease resistant gene by using mutational breeding. So all the above examples involve source of resistant genes that are in the same crop species, which has to be bred for disease resistance, or in a related wild species. So that means here we are discussed some of the examples in which okay, the gene for resistance against certain diseases are present in their wild relatives, and we are introducing that okay, that gene which are present in that wild relatives into that cultivated crops. Okay, transfer of resistant genes is achieved by sexual hybridization between the target and the source plant, followed by selection. So here we are undergoing okay, conventional breeding. So if you find any disease resistance in any relative species, okay, then our wild variety, relative wild varieties or relative species, okay, are cultivated crops, then what we are doing means we are undergoing okay, cross hybridization or sexual hybridization, okay, with the okay, target one. That means into which variety we want to introduce, and from the source plant, that means the gene in which it is present. So from the target, okay, we have to introduce from the source into the target. Okay, for that we are undergoing sexual hybridization followed by selection. Followed by selection. Okay. Okay, that is about this okay, disease, okay, development of plant varieties by okay, to develop disease resistance. And next, plant breeding for developing resistance to insect pest. Okay, that is insects. That means insects also will cause damage to the crop plants now. Okay, they eat away leaves, they bore to the okay, stems. Okay, they bore to the fruits. Okay, that means they okay, and they eat the seeds. As a result, the yield of the crop is reduced. So we have to protect the crop plants from insects or pest. So how we can able to develop resistance against these insects and pests naturally by the plant. Okay, that is another. Okay, that is so. What is the why we have to develop resistance against these insects or pests? Okay, that is the reason is another major cause of large scale destruction of crop plant and crop produce is insect and pest infestation. Okay, during the crop, when the crop is growing, and at the same time when we store the or when we preserve the crop produce, in both the period of time, okay, the product may be or the plant or the product might be okay, get damaged by these insects or pests. So in ways the farmer is losing is the produce. So how we can protect? So insect resistance in host crop plants may be due to morphological, biochemical, or physiological characteristics. So by bringing different, okay, by bringing changes in different ways, we can protect the crop plant from insects or pests. Okay, either it may be by bringing morphological changes, or by bringing certain biochemical changes, and by bringing certain physiological changes in that plant, we are able to provide okay, protection, okay, to the crop plant against this insect pest. So example, resistance to jacids in cotton and cereal leaf beetle in wheat. That means we are developed resistance against a insect called jacid in cotton. Okay, a insect called beetle, called a leaf, commonly called as a leaf beetle in case of cereal, okay, cereals. Okay, in case of wheat, okay, cereal leaf beetle in wheat and jacids in cotton. They have developed resistance against these insects. Okay, how they have developed? Okay, in wheat, solid stems lead to non-preference by the stem sawfly, and smooth-leaved and nectarless cotton varieties do not attract bollworms. So generally, when you observe the stem of the wheat, it is a hollow. Okay, it is a hollow. It will be hollow. So if it is hollow in nature, if the stem is a hollow in nature, okay, it will be attract. Okay, it will attract the sawfly, which will bores the stem and damages the crop plant of wheat. So instead of hollow stems, if you have developed solid stems, okay, if you have developed solid stems in wheat, then we can protect that wheat crop plant from a infestation with the sawfly, stem sawfly. So that means
Hollow
in wheat,
stem means like bamboo, sir.
like bamboo. Okay, even if you observe the rice in your places, we'll find rice now. Okay, if you have got the rice crop, you go and okay, take one crop, okay, one plant, and we can observe a hollow surface, thin, not that much like bamboo, but it will be thin but hollow. Okay, surrounding only we'll find the stem. In the center, we'll find a hollow surface. Even in the dried stem also we can observe. Okay, if you are having the hay or a dry, okay, rice, okay, for the sake of providing food to the cattle, they will keep it in the houses now. Okay, if anybody is having cattle and the dried rice crop plant is there, once you go and open, okay, we'll find a hollow surface in the center of the stem. In the same way, in the wheat also we'll find, like, okay, so generally they are hollow, but if you develop solid stems, we can protect the wheat wheat crop plants from a infestation with a stem sawfly, so that we can prevent the damage by this sawfly. And at the same time, when you observe the cotton, okay, when you observe the cotton, okay, on the cotton, okay, when you observe the cotton leaf, on the cotton leaf we'll find small hairy structures on the leaf of, okay, on the leaf of the cotton plant, okay, in the, okay, on the surface of the leaf of cotton plant, okay, we can observe small hairy structures. Okay, because of the presence of this hairy structures in the cotton leaf, it is attracting the bollworm. Bollworms prefer this hairy leaves. And at the same time, if the leaves, okay, if the flowers are producing nectar, okay, to this bollworms are getting attracted. So if you produce smooth leaves, we are not producing the rough leaves with that small hairy structures. Okay, if you are able to, okay, if you are able to change the genetic composition such that the leaves will produce smooth leaves, that is without hairs, and if the flowers are produced without nectar, then we can protect the cotton plant from the infestation with the bollworm. Okay, and same time, okay, that means we are undergoing certain change in the genetic material. As a result, it will produce smooth leaves. Okay, and we are okay, instead of producing nectar, it is unable to produce nectar. Like that, we are developing, we are changing the genes. And at the same time, we can observe in maize, high aspartic acid, low nitrogen, and sugar content in maize leads to resistance to maize stem borers. Okay, that is okay. In the maize also there is an insect which causes boring to the stem. That means it makes holes to the stem and causing dead maize plant, leading to that reduction in the yield. So if you produce stems with a high aspartic acid and next low nitrogen content and low sugar content in the stem, okay, we have undergone certain change in the genetic composition such that it will produce more, okay, it can store more aspartic acid in the stem, and a low nitrogen compounds and a low sugar content can be stored in the stem. As a result, okay, the maize plant can be protected from the infestation with the stem borer in case of maize plant. So that is okay. So when you observe here, so we are using different methods like conventional breeding, mutation breeding. Okay, like this, we are using different techniques to develop resistance against the insect pest. Okay, we have gone with the breeding method for insect pest resistance involve the same steps as those for any other agronomic trait such as yield or quality and are as discussed earlier. Okay, that means if you have found any wild relatives which are showing such characteristic features, generally we can see the wild plants by themselves, they are able to protect. Even we can observe in a crop plant, okay, we'll find a large number of weed plants are growing along with the crop plants. Okay, when these wild plants, okay, whenever these wild plants or weed plants are growing along with the crop plants, okay, the insect will cause damage to the crop plant but not to the this weed or wild plants. Okay, they will be growing normally, they will not, okay, they will not get damaged with these insects. That means okay, what we can understand from this means that wild variety or that a weed is already having certain resistance against that insect or pest. So that's why it is able to grow even that even the crop plant is affected, but these weed plants is unable to get affected. Why? Because it is already having certain resistance. So such wild relatives which are showing resistance against certain insect pest we can identify, and those genes, okay, we need to introduce into the crop varieties by using different mechanisms, by using conventional breeding or mutational breeding or some other by soma clonal method or by using biotechnological process or genetic engineering we have to introduce. Okay, that is that same, the procedure is same. Okay, first selecting the, okay, collection of germplasm, selecting the parents, okay, hybridization, okay, and next hybrids are obtained and hybrids are undergone artificial selection, and later if you find the desirable character, those are produced in large number. The procedure is same. Okay, that is. So sources of resistance genes may be cultivated varieties, germplasm collections of the crop or wild relatives. Okay, that means, okay, this resistance might be present in the other crop variety, okay, and or it may be present in the, okay, wild varieties, or it may be present in the, okay, other species or relative species. So what, wherever they are present, okay, we need to incorporate into the plant variety which we are growing for getting the higher yield of that plant. Okay, so okay, wherever they are present by using breeding, we have to introduce into the high yielding varieties. Okay, some released crop varieties bred by hybridization and selection for insect pest resistance are given. Okay, here there are, okay, here given another table. Okay, already we have gone with one table where disease resistant varieties are developed by using conventional breeding. Disease resistant varieties for by using conventional breeding. And here is the table. Okay, which, okay, here we have developed some new varieties of crops by using conventional breeding. Okay, but here we have developed resistance against insect pests. Okay, okay, first one, brassica, that is mustard, rapeseed mustard seeds. Mustard seeds we usually will use for seasoning. No, that black color small round mustard. Okay, mustard, rapeseed mustard. Okay, they have developed a new variety of this brassica or mustard variety called Pusa Gaurav. They have developed a new variety called Pusa Gaurav. Okay, for this, they have developed resistance against an insect called aphid. Okay, against the aphids, they developed resistance. Okay, in this plant variety called Pusa Gaurav in brassica. They named it as Pusa Gaurav. And next, there is another plant variety called flat bean. Okay, there is another plant variety called flat bean. Okay, in this flat bean. Okay, in this flat beans, they have developed two varieties. One is the Pusa Sem2 and the second one is the Pusa Sem3. Pusa Sem2 and Pusa Sem3. And they have developed, okay, resistance against insects like jassids, aphids, and fruit borer. That means they make holes to the, okay, the fruit, that is the pod in case of bean. Okay, it makes holes to that pod in the early days and it lives inside that and damages the seeds that are present inside, as a result reducing the yield. Okay, jassids and aphids and fruit borer, against these three insects, they developed resistance. Okay, in these two varieties, that is Pusa Sem2 and Pusa Sem3 of flat bean. Okay, and they developed variety of bindi, that is okra. Okra, that is a Hindi word called okra. Bindi. Okay, in some places they call it as okra and in some places they call it as bindi. Okay, they developed two varieties called Pusa Savani and Pusa A4. They have developed two varieties. One is Pusa Savani and the second one is Pusa A4. Okay, in this they developed resistance against two insects. One is a shoot borer and another one is a fruit borer. Okay, they developed resistance against a shoot and a fruit borer. In these two varieties, that is Pusa Savani and Pusa A4 of a bindi, or okra. Okay, before we have discussed one variety, Abelmoschus esculentus, bindi. Okay, by using we have developed a, okay, a disease resistant variety, that is okay, Parbhani Kranti. A new variety called Parbhani Kranti was developed by using mutational breeding of this Abelmoschus esculentus or bindi. Okay, here we are developed Pusa Savani and Pusa A4. Okay, in this that they are developed resistance against shoot and fruit borer in okra or bindi. Okay, that is okay. So these tables and the examples. Okay, okay. While we are discussing about a high yielding variety, we have discussed some examples. Okay, that is Kalyan Sona and Sonalika of wheat variety. Okay, IR8 and Taichung Native 1 of rice variety. Jaya and Ratna of rice variety. And next sugarcane variety. Okay, that is Saccharum officinarum and Saccharum barberi. And in case of maize also, we have developed high yielding varieties. In Jowar, Bajra, we have developed some high yielding varieties by using this conventional breeding, and which can grow in drought conditions. We have developed high yielding drought varieties. Okay, and later we have discussed about disease resistance, and these disease resistant varieties were developed by both the conventional breeding as well as plant breeding. Okay, conventional breeding and okay, some varieties were developed by conventional breeding and some varieties were developed by breeding. In the same manner, okay, we have developed, okay, we also developed some new varieties for insect pest, in case of wheat, in case of cotton, in case of maize, and we also developed brassica variety, flat bean variety, and okra. Okay, so all these you have to remember thoroughly. Every example has got its importance. These are very, very important. Okay, these examples are very, very important. They are commonly asking in the examination. One question definitely comes in 2 mark in this chapter. Definitely. Again, okay, regarding these tables and all the examples. So this one. Okay. Anybody is having any doubt?